Hey, thanks for being a part of the conversation. This is Play It Forward. Real people, real stories. The struggle to play it forward. Episode number 620 is with actor Brett Gelman, author of the new book, The Terrifying Realm of the Possible, Nearly True Stories.
All right, man. How are you?
Fantastic. This is amazing, the way that you have taken this moment, put it on a page that came from a tree, which came from the ground, and now we're going to read it, experience it, and talk about it. I love the way that you have set your imagination free.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's such a beautiful way to describe the whole process, you know?
Well, you've got to build up a relationship with that creative self, and that there's so many voices in our head and heart, and I openly admit to it, but now you got to do something with them.
Exactly. No, I mean, this book is very much like a purge of a lot of my own neurotic thoughts and feelings, my own self-loathing. It's a way to face all of that and laugh at it, really. Mm-hmm. Laugh at the darkest aspects of myself or my imagined self.
Yeah. It's a series of nightmares. Now, you've got my attention on this because I study dreams. I mean, I go hardcore, look it up, try to figure out what's the message here, how can I incorporate it, activate it, and get involved with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's, it's a surreal book. There's a lot of, it gets weird. And, in that way that it really does reflect dreams and nightmares, and which goes into sort of there being like an aspect of the book where anything is possible. But at the same time, dealing very much in the nightmares of life, and the nightmares of your waking imagination, mostly related to you being the person that you are afraid you might be.
Yeah. In bringing the book together, how did you, what taught you to break it up into characters? Because I've never seen anything like this, especially, when you've got Abraham the child, I mean, and the demons in his head. It's like, oh, I've got to start on this one. But I know people are going to pick it out, whatever one they want to start with, and then go back to the others.
Yeah, I mean, this was, it was a collaborate. I had a great editor, Stuart Roberts, and we really collaborated on that, of figuring out how to frame the whole book to where, I write in a very stream of consciousness kind of way. So what would be a great framework in order to put all these thoughts and feelings down and really focus, my wild way of writing into a way that, a book could be framed.
Did it start using a writing instrument, or did you go flat out, I'm gonna do this in a notebook?
No, I went straight to the laptop.
Did you?
I just sit down and I just start dancing with the fingers.
Yeah,
I've been typing a long time. I get a lot. I used to write in a notebook when I was starting out in comedy, especially. I would write in my sketch. But slowly but surely, I've moved more just to the computer. But hey, maybe I'll start writing by hand and see what happens.
Well, I'm that writer. I'm that guy. My last book, which is about John Lennon, I went out and got the John Lennon Mont Blanc writing instrument, and that's the only pen that I could use in telling the story, because I just believe that you and I are being creative. We're called to do what we're doing. It's like there's no way that I'm saying I'm going to write a book. No, something out there said, no, you've been picked, dude. Get the book done.
I mean, I definitely, it's funny, but I agree with you. I mean, I do think that it's pretty wild that you do feel like you're channeling something. Yeah. And I guess, that's why I get right to the computer, because I want to be making sure that I'm channeling the most final version of it possible. And that I'm not going to, lose the pages or something like that. But I mean, it's definitely... I am able to do that with typing too, where I feel like I'm tapping into something. And I mean, I really do think that that's what art is about. It's kind of amazing to me that I write or that I act sometimes in the day. You're like sitting like a turd on your couch and you're like, oh, wow, I'm an artist. And then suddenly you feel imbued by something. I mean, you really don't know where these thoughts and ideas come from.
It's so true.
I think like the better you get, the more you sort of realize like it's not in your control. You know, you're the spark, but the flame is something else. And that's the thing I think that connects all of us, you know?
Do you find yourself thinking faster when you're typing? Only because because when I'm sitting here typing my fingers, and if I start thinking about my fingers and how fast they're moving, then I screw up. But if I'm just sitting there and just whatever's moving through me is on that page, it's like, whoa, I love this. Stream thinking is a beautiful place.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of just like try to let that thinking just happen, you know, and not. You sit down with a preconceived idea, but then a lot of times in the middle of writing, you see it going a different way, and it's always going to work out better that if you follow that way. Yeah. I mean, it's sort of the same thing with everything. It's the same thing with acting. It's the same thing with every art. You know, you have your thoughts, you have your preparation, you have the form that you think that it's going to happen in, but you know, you can easily be presented. You can never preconceive what the moment is going to be, and the moment is always more powerful. That's why, you know, a lot of times in a lot of what I do, like people point things out that I did that I almost am not aware of. You know, it just sort of happened, and so you know, then you ask yourself the question like, did it happen? Well, it did for that. It did for that person. So. That, you know, or, you know, it's people pick out a moment in writing or in my acting where I'm like, that was just in the moment, something I did. There was not a huge thought process that went behind that. But, you know, I think that in a lot of ways is a deeper way of doing things.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Merchandise for this book. I mean, it's somewhere along the line. You're going to have to do T-shirts for each one of these characters, especially for Z, because I just know the goth people are going to say, "I love this, man. Z meets Satan. I gotta have a T-shirt." Z should be on a lot of black hoodies. You're right, and like long black sleeve shirts. Yes. You know, No, Z is very, very goth. No, you have the halo and you have the devil horns. Well, Z is both. Z goes both to heaven and to hell. So, which is how a lot of us feel as we go through life. It depends on the day. Yeah. What we think we're in. And what is the chapter that we're presently in? And did I learn anything from that last chapter? And if I didn't, oh hell, I've got this one to worry about now.
Yeah, I think that like the book is very much, you know, satirizing that learning itself, you know, that we grip on to these supposed lessons, but, you know, does it really change us? Do we really change? You know, we only really change if we put work into changing. Yeah. And so if you just think that these big epiphanies that you get throughout life are just going to make it all happen, think again. You got to put a little effort into that.
My wake-up call with change was a general manager at 95.1 who looked at me and he said, radio is change every day. If you don't like it, there's the door. And if you want to go right now, I'm okay, because that's the change I'm dealing with right now.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great thing. Yeah, no, totally. You have to at least roll with change. Yeah. You know, even if you're not okay with it, you got to change.
How did you come up with the name of all the different characters? Was that what they were when they're inside the dream? Because, I mean, you've got Mendel the teenager. I mean, it's like, yeah, that's a good little teenager name.
I wanted to have make up some, I love the Russians. And so I wanted to make up some long, ridiculous names for a lot of them, and so it was me looking up first names and last names online and putting them together. And then you see the name and you're like, oh, that's this character.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad that you said that, because right away, as I go through the chapters, I'll have a new vision, because I'm not sitting here thinking that Z is Johnny Depp and that Mendel is going to be somebody else. I mean, you allow us to have our own vision and interpretation of who these characters are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think different types of people are going to get different things out of the stories. I think some people might really relate to it. And then some people are just going to be entertained by these buffoons, and be glad that they're not them.
So now, is the follow-up book, is it going to include that where Z comes back and meets Abraham? And all of a sudden a new storyline begins there?
I mean, who knows? I mean, that could be cool. I mean, this could become my own personal Glass family.
Yeah.
The Glass family, I'm referencing J. Salinger there, where you see them revolve around, each other, and you see different stories come out from these characters. That could definitely be the next book. I could just stick with these people.
Because you're very good at theater of the mind, and it really does serve as a great escape. And then when you finish a page or you're done reading for the day, it's like, God dang, I really went somewhere.
Oh, thank you so much. That means so much, you saying that. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to give people an experience while they read it. I'm like very influenced by like those urban neurotic authors, but then also by like the Russians and the Beats, or the Beat adjacent people like Bukowski and Henry Miller that write in this very stream of consciousness way and really get, down to the very, very raw nitty gritty of who we are, what our desires are.
Wow.
So it was dealing with a lot of influences there, as much as I'm influenced by Groucho Marx and Woody Allen,
Where can people go to get the book and to find out more about you, Brett?
Woody Allen as an artist, not as a person.
Oh, right, exactly. Okay.
Where can people get the book? They can get it wherever they prefer to get their books, and it's you can read it, and there's also the audiobook and I'm reading it.
Even better. I love it when you guys do that. Because this way I get to hear your inflection.
Yeah, no, it was really fun doing that. I mean, they asked me, they were like, do you want to do the audiobook? I'm like, excuse me, I'm still an actor, of course.
Well, you've got to come back to this show anytime in the future, Brett. The door is always going to be open for you.
Thank you, man. I've had so much fun talking to you. Thank you so much.
Will you be brilliant today, okay, sir?
You too, sir. Thank you.